welcome back to the channel, whoever you are watching this video, and I have something special for you. So, you may have heard of Gotham Chess, and you're very good chess content creator. And one of the many series on this channel is, I don't know what exactly it's called, but he basically pits chess chatbots against each other in a very Now, I have completely stolen this idea and decided to use it for myself, but I have innovated in the bots that I am showing. So it's Martin versus Komodo 1. Martin is the poster boy for the bad chess bot. You all know him if you clicked on this video and know anything about chess.com. And Komodo 1 is the lowest level engine. Today I'm going to see which one of these 250 elo bots, both of them are 250 elo, which one is worse and which one is better. It says my name here because I had to replicate the move on the board. And let me tell you, it was extremely weird. Let's start. F3, the ready opening. Komodo is playing as white and Martin is playing as black. Martin goes for d5, d4, e6, and queen and c4 from white, turning this from the ready to Queen's pawn opening Zuckertort variation to Queen's Gambit decline. So that's kind of a bit of a miss. Also, I would just like to point this out. This is the game review. 13 misses. Great. And also, this game is 139 moves long. So you think this is going to be a short game, you are sorely mistaken. The first really bad move is Queen to d7. Simply because it blocks a bishop that was already blocked by this pawn. And now that bishop, the only way is to get out is to push this pawn and put here and here. And then Komodo plays g4, doing literally nothing. That's definitely not the best. C5 from Mark? Horrible. That shit would just be a pawn trade, but you're doing nothing except. I guess c5 is not horrible compared to the next move, which was h4. What was that? Komodo, what are you doing? You're the same elo as Martin. You can't be playing these moves. Martin's not. Martin plays bishop to d6, g5, king d8, the first really bad move. Now all white has to do is just develop the bishop, cat, knight, develop this bishop through here, or here. And white is just really chilling. Instead, white plays queen to d2, mirroring what black did at the start of the game. Queen to e8. What? I guess he was trying to castle the king and the queen? Martin was trying to do that? Maybe. Pawn to b3 does absolutely nothing. Bishop to e7 does absolutely nothing. Pawn to b4, which is just a pawn that can be taken because the queen cannot take back because the bishop protects. And instead Martin takes the other pawn, which I guess that's fine. And then a4 from Komodo 1, completely hanging a pawn. Martin does not take the pawn, instead develops its queen and blocks its knight. The queen thought it was attacked, so it moved to e3. And then Martin finally takes the pawn. Martin is winning because, Komodo has done 2 pawns in the opening. Queen to d2. This pawn is protected, so what is he gonna do? King to e8, that's kind of useless. e4, decent move. Definitely does not hang a pawn. It definitely, absolutely does not. I'm just joking. This is a completely free pawn. You're taking it with check. And unless they go they'll rock and protect the knight, but your queen will be useless. Also, I'm 350 elo, so in rapid, so you might want to take my opinion with a grain of salt. a6, not taking the free pawn. And then queen takes b4, and Martin instantly takes with check. And then horrible from, that's the worst move because you're just allowing this and forking the king and queen. The king and rook, sorry, there is no queen, the queen died. King King f8 doesn't really affect the position. Martin is completely winning. One still. He doesn't lead. Too long. Actually, one. Rook to h3. Bishop takes knight. King to d1. h6. Doesn't take the free rook. h5. What? Queen to d7, hanging its queen. And Komodo immediately takes. Martin does not take back. Allows a check, but king does no danger. And then king to c2. King c2 attacking the bishop. Bishop finally Martin finally realizes that he can just take the rook, which he absolutely does. Bishop to c5. Bishop to a4 check. King to d2. Bishop to d3. g2 finally developing the bishop, though the knight has to move for it to actually be useful. Knight to c6, hanging a knight. Komodo immediately takes. And Martin recaptures the other pawn, which was defended, instead of taking this. So, and Komodo pushes because it's so smart. King to d7, h6. Bishop takes pawn, hanging a bishop. White takes the bishop. King c7, taking the pawn. And the rook is threatened both ways, but you could just trade the rooks. And as long as you never move this knight, this pawn will just never move. Instead, Martin plays king to d8, blundering all the advantage, hanging a rook, and if it promotes the queen, it pins the knight. So you have to go like here. You have to go here because the bishop blocks the square. The bishop blocks the square. And white promotes to a knight, but they're still completely winning because now they're just like up 1 point of material, and this knight has not moved at all. Bishop to c2, hanging a bishop, and both two ways. But white refuses to take with bishop to d6, literally doing nothing. Pawn to f6. Bishop to f3. Rook to a7, hanging a rook. Takes back. Bishop to d1. Martin finally moves the bishop. And bishop to a4. Let's e5 attack the knight. Knight goes back. Now a3, king a8 for no reason, g6 hanging a knight, and basically just letting black have equal material. White is still winning because if you don't know, even though I'm not sure if I mean white is still winning, I don't know how. Because black has a lot more pawns. Then again, white does have a rook, and a rook can be very good in situations like this. So, knight to d4, hanging a knight. Martin does not take the knight, and there are two hanging knights for white knights. Rook to a2, doing literally nothing. Bishop to d7, just allowing this knight to escape. King e3, and Martin finally takes. Check. King takes pawn. Bishop to c8, putting it next to king. Knight goes back to its promotion square. Bishop to a3, h3. King to c3. Bishop f1. Bishop e8. King a8. Bishop f7, king, pawn to b5, and then rook takes a6, check, king to b8, rook to a3, knight to g4, h5, one defends the knight, h3, bishop to h3, rook to a2, knight to e5, And then this check that just stacks the rook. Martin immediately takes. Martin is now winning. He has the same pieces, these are the same pieces. But this knight is just stuck on his promotion square, can only access 2 squares. This knight is much more active. And if they just trade the bishops, then black will easily win this because black has 4 pawns. While Komodo, white only has 1. Bishop g4 offering a bishop trade. f4. Pawn takes pawn. Bishop f7. Pawn to f5. King g3. Bishop h5. d5 check from the bishop. King h7. Knight to f7. Knight takes knight. And instead of taking the knight and making it a knight trade, I don't know what the hell was going through Komodo's brain. Komodo decides to take the pawn, sacking its bishop. Martin takes. Martin is just winning. There's literally no way for Komodo to win. King to b6. And 60th move of the game. King to b3. Knight to d8. b4. e2. Bishop e2. King to a3. King to b7. King to a2. Bishop d1. King to a3. Bishop e3. Sacking the bishop. White does not take. Black insists. Komodo still does not take. Knight to f7 from Martin. King to a3. Knight h6. King to b2. c6. And hanging another bishop. Hanging the bishop again from Martin. And finally, after moving its king, completely disregarding this, white takes. Komodo takes. Komodo is still absolutely losing. Knight to c4. King c1. Knight e3. King d2. Knight g2. King d3, King d7, King d2, King d8, King c2, King d8, King d2, King c7, King c2, King d6, King d1, King h4, King e1, King d6, King d2, what a change, Knight to e7, King d1, King c5, King c1, King d5, King c2, King e6, King b1, King g8, King a2, King h6, King b2, King e7, King a3, Knight to g8, Knight g8, Knight h6, King e7. These are very similar looking moves to me. Mate has been on the board for a long time. King a4, King e8, King b4, King h6, King b3, King d8, King c2, not h2. If you notice something, it is 10 moves. This game is 10 moves away from reaching 100 moves. This game has more than 100 moves. I'm sorry if I spoiled that, but I will show it. Spoil that. I will show it later. Very soon. Very soon. King d2, Knight h2, King d1. Pawn pushes to f3. Finally, Martin has pushed his pawn. King c1, Knight g4. King c2, Knight e3 check. King attacks the knight. Knight retreats. King c3, Knight e1. King d2, f4. The wrong pawn push. You're supposed to push this one. King c3, King c8. King d3, King d7. King a3, King c7. King a2, King f2, pawn to f2, finally progressing this pawn. King to b2, f1 queen, and now it's just main 3. Knight to d3 check, not the best move. It's not main 5, but it is now main 3 again. Pawn to f3, King b3, and then Queen c1, King a4, Knight e5, King b7, Queen d1, cutting off the king, King c5, King b3, Queen d3, immediately uncutting the king, King d4, Knight g4, e4, c6, King to d4, Queen to f7, King to e4, Knight to e5, sacrificing the knight, and white takes, Komodo takes, and then Martin just checks him, and just pushes the pawn to a queen, and it is just very easy to check. Like there's a ladder mate possible, and there's just a mate into the same as Queen a7, King c3, Queen e2, King b3, Queen a6, King c2, Queen c5, King d1, King d6, King e1, Queen c4, King d2, Queen a4, King e2, Queen d4, King d1, c3 from the Queen, King e2, King d6, King f1, Queen e3, King g2, Queen a7, King f1, Queen c8, King g2, Queen a6, King h3, Queen f2, King g4, King c7, King h5, and there's main 2 again, but there has been for like past 2 moves. There just been a main, not a main 2. Queen b6, King g5, King d6, King g6, Queen d4, King h7, King d7, King h6, King e7, King h7, a2, King h6, g2. There is now a main 1, and Martin never misses main 1 because now the king is cut off, and he has to stay in this file, and you could just give this. Well, it wouldn't be checkmate actually if you went here, but you would still have a checkmate. No doubt you could probably, I mean, if you went here, this would be stopped, but you could definitely still find a way to checkmate. And then there are 2 checkmates in this position: the ladder mate I just mentioned, or Queen g7. And Martin finds Queen g7, winning the game after 139 moves. That was insane. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe.